the cursed child. In the shadow of the Emberhold Mountains, where jagged peaks pierced the sky like the claws of a forgotten god, lay a town that gleamed with false piety. Emberhold was a place of towering spires and fervent prayers, where the temple of the eternal flame held sway over every soul. The townsfolk believed their prosperity flowed from the temple's divine light, a sacred fire said to burn since the world's dawn. But beneath the golden facade, Emberhold was a pit of lies, greed, and cruelty. And at its heart was Zane, a boy born under a curse. Zane's mother, Lyra, was a seamstress with eyes like storm clouds and a spirit that refused to bend. When she rejected the advances of Lord Varkas, the temple's high priest, he branded her a heretic. His loyalists, pious thugs cloaked in holy robes, assaulted her, and the town turned its back. When Zane was born, Varkas declared him the cursed child, a blight on Emberhold's sanctity. The townsfolk spat on him, children pelted him with stones, and teachers ignored his pleas. "You're nothing," Ruck, the blacksmith's son, would sneer, shoving Zane into the mud. Sala, a sharp-tongued girl, spread whispers that Lyra was a witch. Torv, a hulking boy who'd later join the temple guard, once locked Zane in a cellar overnight, laughing as he screamed. Zane survived by retreating to a hidden glade beyond the town, where the wind whispered secrets and the stars seemed to listen. There, at 13, he found a blackened amulet buried under a gnarled tree. It pulsed with warmth, its surface etched with runes that glowed faintly under moonlight. When Zane touched it, a voice echoed in his mind. "Truth is your blade, shadow your shield." The amulet was a relic of the old magic, forbidden by the temple, and it chose him. Zane hid it, studying its power in secret. He learned to bend shadows, to see lies as dark threads woven into people's words, and to unravel them with a thought. The amulet became his only friend, his hope for vengeance. By 16, Lyra's health failed, broken by years of shame. Zane fled Emberhold after her death, vowing never to return until he could make the town pay. He carried the amulet, her old sewing needle, and a heart burning with rage. The Shadow Auditor 10 years later, Zane was no longer the scrawny outcast. In the city of Ironspire, he joined the Order of the Veil, a secretive guild that audited the spiritual health of towns and cities. Using ancient magic, they exposed corruption, dismantled lies, and reshaped destinies. Zane, now a tall man with sharp features and a black cloak that seemed to drink the light, was their finest operative, the Shadow Auditor. His amulet, now a conduit for his will, let him see lies as tangible threads, ripe for cutting. He'd toppled merchant empires and exposed false prophets, but his heart remained tethered to Emberhold. One crisp morning, the Order summoned Zane. "3 enterprises are faltering," said Master Kale, his mentor. "The last is the Temple of the Eternal Flame in Emberhold. Their wealth is vast, but whispers of corruption abound. Audit them. Be thorough." Zane's pulse quickened. The temple had grown into a sprawling business, peddling miracles to pilgrims and selling blessed relics. Emberhold's economy, every shop, inn, and home, depended on it. This was his chance. He returned to Emberhold, unrecognizable. His cloak billowed in the mountain wind, his eyes glinted with the amulet's fire, and his voice carried a quiet menace. The townsfolk saw only a stranger, a high-ranking auditor from Ironspire. The temple, eager to impress, threw a grand feast in his honor. Golden chandeliers lit the hall, and the air buzzed with false smiles. Zane scanned the crowd and spotted then Ruck, now a burly blacksmith with a temple contract, Sala, a merchant's wife dripping with stolen jewels, and Torv, a temple guard with a swagger that hid his cowardice. They laughed, unaware of the storm approaching. Zane approached their table, wine glass in hand. "Ruck," he said, his voice smooth as velvet, "do you still throw stones at children, or have you found bigger targets?" Ruck's face froze, his knuckles whitening around his mug. "Sala, your lies were always sharper than your wit. Still weaving tales?" Sala's smile faltered, her eyes darting to the crowd. "And Torv?" Does the cellar still echo with screams? Torv's hand twitched toward his sword, but Zane raised his glass, laughing. Just a jest, friends. To old times. The amulet pulsed, sensing their guilt, their lies thickening the air like smoke. The veil of truth. That night, Zane began his audit. He walked the temple's marble halls, the amulet glowing as it revealed threads of corruption, bribes funneled to Varkas, pilgrims cheated with fake relics, workers paid in prayers instead of coin. The eternal flame itself was a lie, a mechanical contraption, fueled by stolen magic siphoned from ancient ley lines. Zane's anger grew, but he tempered it with precision. Revenge required patience. He wove a spell called the Veil of Truth, a subtle curse drawn from the amulet's power. It would force Emberhold to confront its lies, unraveling their illusions one by one. Over the next week, Zane worked in plain sight, asking pointed questions that cut like knives. Why are workers unpaid? He asked a temple overseer, who stammered. These relics, forged last month, yet sold as ancient, he mused to a priest, who fled. The amulet amplified his words, planting seeds of doubt. Pilgrims whispered, workers grumbled, and the town's facade began to crack. Zane met Varkas in the temple's inner sanctum, a chamber lit by the false flame. The high priest, now old but still venomous, eyed him warily. "You're no ordinary auditor," Varkas hissed, his fingers clutching a gilded staff. Zane smiled, the amulet warm against his chest. "And you're no priest." He leaned closer, whispering, "I know what you did to Lyra." Varkas's face paled, but he said nothing. Zane left, the curse tightening its grip. The reckoning. The final day came at the town square, where thousands gathered for Zane's verdict. The air was thick with tension, the temple's spires looming like silent accusers. Zane stood on a platform, his cloak billowing, the amulet glowing faintly. "The temple of the eternal flame is a lie," he declared, his voice carrying like thunder. "Your wealth is built on stolen magic, your faith on deceit. The order demands its closure." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Varkas roared, "Blasphemy!" But Zane raised the amulet, and the square darkened as shadows swirled. The eternal flame flickered, then died, revealing a rusty machine spewing sparks. The crowd screamed, their faith shattered. The veil of truth took hold, and visions swept through Emberhold. Rook saw himself beating a crying boy. Sala relived her cruel whispers. Torv felt the terror of a child in a cellar. Families turned on each other, exposing hidden betrayals. The temple's coffers, revealed as stolen, were seized by the order. Pilgrims fled, shops closed, and the economy collapsed. Rook's forge shut down, his family destitute. Sala's jewels were confiscated, her status gone. Torv, stripped of his rank, wandered the streets, haunted by his own cowardice. Varkas fled into the mountains, pursued by visions of Lyra's accusing eyes. Emberhold became a ghost town, its spires crumbling, its streets silent. Zane stood atop a hill, watching the town die. The amulet pulsed, satisfied. He whispered to the winds, as he had as a boy, "Your lies are ash." Then he turned, vanishing into the night. Epilogue. Months later, whispers spread of a new settlement in the valley, built by those who'd seen the truth and chosen to start anew. They called it Dawnbreak, a place free of lies. Zane never returned, but some swore a shadow watched from the mountains, ensuring the past stayed buried. The amulet, now quiet, waited for its next call.